Hello, my name is Thomas Kuda, and welcome to the Design Desk. This is our first episode. I'm super pumped about that. Um, Today, I would like to talk about Diablo 3 and dig into this game a little bit more. First, I'd like to start with a disclaimer, though, just to let you guys know that my opinions and views and what I talk about and conclusions I draw from what I've experienced and played in no way reflect the developers, publishers, and Blizzard. So with that out of the way, let's get started a little bit. I'd just like to talk a little bit about the history of Diablo 3. It when it first came out was the fastest selling PC game. It still holds the record for selling the most copies in a single day, and that's pretty good. This game got a lot of attention and a lot of people liked it, and also it did have its flaws, so I'd like to talk about all those things today. We'll talk about the gameplay, the characters, all the creation stats, set pieces, items, how you build characters, and all that sort of stuff. And I want to talk about the balance, the how good they've managed to create all of the different classes and have them all be fun to play. And I would like to talk about probably what is the game's biggest flaw, which is the late game content. So I guess we'll pick up right with the characters and the character creation. This game includes 6 different characters for right now. I know it didn't have that many at the start. More got added in the DLC. But all the characters you can choose from, you can have as male or female, and I think that is awesome. I like that you can kind of pick and choose which you'd like to play as, because for a long time, games used to not really grant that choice. You'd just be thrown into whatever the main character was, and it was usually a guy. It's just nice that now girls who play, and I mean even guys, anyone can pick the gender they want to have represent their larger than life hero while they play a game and feel awesome and just empowered, and that's cool. So other than being able to choose that, the character creation is nice. It's fairly minimal, but it's not bad. What's really nice is the 6 different classes. They go by. There's 2 of each different stat type. You have strength, intelligence, and dexterity, and it's just cool that they have different play styles for each one. Even within the same stat, each one plays a little bit differently from the other one, and it's just really cool to see the differences they can manage to pull together out of that kind of stuff. The character stats are also, it's good to me, but it also is part of like a micromanagement type thing. Like, you get some gear, let's say, you definitely know which gear is going to be better because you can see visibly what stats get improved, if it declines certain things, and if it boosts your overall DPS. And things like this, these way you can see the stats so easily, kind of makes the game... I mean, I realize they have to put systems like this in, but it makes the game a little less interesting. There's no wow factor, there's nothing special really. I mean, they do give some of the weapons and armor cool abilities, which keeps things fresh and interesting, and that's always fun. Like, there's even like a belt, for instance, that every time you attack, you have a certain % chance to summon a horde of murderous cows. It's just really cool the way they work that kind of stuff. So, I mean, other than the stats being a little lackluster, there are some cool things that they throw in with them. I guess next I would like to talk about the balance of the game. I think this is the highlight of the entire game by far. I love the way they've so masterfully balanced all of the 6 different character classes with each other. I mean, when you get into late game, it changes a little bit, but when I first started this game, I could see all the different classes, and I just tried them out one at a time and saw which ones I liked more, and I've never had such a tough time picking like a favorite class to play as or something like that in any game. It's so much fun to play as all 6 different ones. All of them make you feel equally cool. All of their skills and abilities can be used to just make you feel amazing and like you're really there fighting the lords of hell as a savior of a superhero of sorts. And it's just really cool to see how well they've managed to balance all of these things out, and I just love that about this game. And I love how deeply they were able to get into what players would want from, say a witch doctor class. And the developers seem to be very good at getting down exactly what, well, even for me, for instance, what I was looking for going into each of the classes. None of the movesets disappointed me. They didn't really feel off of their character thematically or aesthetically when you watch them. It was just very, very well done. And this kind of takes me into the late game portion, which was really, really interesting to me because it was kind of like a letdown of sorts. It definitely wasn't the highlight of the game. I mean, for me personally, the late game basically boils down into the adventure mode, which lets you go back through all the acts and redo, well, you do bounties instead of the quests you did before. But after you do bounties, if you finish all of them in an act, you get a Heradric cache, which gives you a bunch of loot. And then you take rift fragments and you start running rifts and getting better gear and moving to a higher difficulty, then doing greater rifts, and repeat until you're at the highest difficulty and have the best set of gear that you can for your character and have them built just so. Which to me is kind of a bummer a little bit because it just kind of lessens the overall end game experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of fun to play, and I love putting the set pieces together and everything, but the drop rates are just so random for this game. I mean, I can play for 3-4 hours without hardly finding any legendaries, and what I do get are completely useless to what I'm looking for. And then there's been times where I'll pop on for a half an hour, run a couple rifts, and I'll get like 4 or 5 legendaries, and like 1 or 2 of those are set pieces that I'm looking for. It's just the way the end game works out makes it so that you can either spend just tons of time looking for stuff and never finding anything because your drop rates aren't as good as what you would hope for, or conversely, you could, just play for a couple hours and find everything. I mean, I've had it go both ways for different play sessions. I mean, I was playing with one of my friends, and we were both going for the same set, and we started at the same time, and I finished the set a week ago, and he still only has like 1 piece of it. I actually started getting doubles that I'm going to have to give to him so he can finish the set. It's just stuff like that that gets a little frustrating in the later part of the game. That, and there's not really a ton of different bounties to do. I mean, they all end up boiling down to the same principles as, kill this, go do this thing, that, go bury these people's bones so they can rest forever, which is something you can do in the campaign. But I will say one thing. This game does have one great feature that I really, really enjoy that they do, and that is the completely and totally random things that they throw into this game. Like in the first hour and a half of playing, I was playing co-op with Taney Pickle, and we were just going around this battlefield trying to kill stuff, and then all of a sudden this goblin pops up, and we go to kill it. I think this had been the first treasure goblin we found. Well, we didn't know what a rainbow goblin was, but when it died and it opened a portal to Whimsydale, we were both just amazed at the fact that, in this game that's so serious, I mean, we're killing zombies and we're talking to this old guy who's, telling us about, supernatural things that are going on right now. And here we are in the middle of this other realm, slaying unicorns and teddy bears and getting massive amounts of loot. I mean, by the time we were done with that, we had so much stuff. It was just crazy the amount of things that happened in there, and that was cool. It was a great experience, And I really think that the things that they've added in there like that have helped the overall game's experience. And even in the late game, I keep finding things when I'm playing that I hadn't found before, and that's pretty great. It's basically the only thing that really helps the late game content, but it is cool, and it's really nice that they added in those features to help kind of smooth things out and keep people coming back to play, because there's always that wonder in the back of your mind of whether or not you're going to find something else cool. But I just don't think it was quite enough to make the late game really what would have made it just amazing all the way around. But yeah, so I think that's all I had to talk about today. So thank you guys so much for coming and listening to me. The end of the episode is just the start of the discussion, so I definitely would love to chat with you guys. If you think I was right about something, wrong about something, left something out that needed to be talked about, hit me up in the comments below. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you and goodbye.